This is Mr. Eugene, and today we're examining one of the most psychologically destructive games women play. A game so insidious, so calculating, so devastating, that most men don't even recognize they're being played until they're already broken. Newsflash, women play games with men. A lot of them. The reasons are too numerous to catalog in one video, but the most disgusting, most destructive, most soul-crushing one is what I call the good man breakdown game. Here's how it works. A woman secures a high-quality man, someone objectively better than what she feels she deserves. Better looking, more successful, more emotionally stable, more faithful, more ambitious, more valuable in the sexual marketplace by any objective measure. This should be a win she celebrates every day, right? She landed a quality man. She should be grateful, supportive, building him up, making sure he never has reason to look elsewhere. But that's not what happens. Instead, she systematically breaks him down. Not occasionally, not during arguments, not constantly, deliberately, methodically. Every day she chips away at his confidence, his self-worth, his belief in his own value until he's so broken that he genuinely believes he's lucky she tolerates him. Why? Because she doesn't want him to also realize he's too good for her. Because if he feels he deserves better treatment, she'll actually have to make more effort, which she's too lazy and selfish to do. It's just so much easier to make him feel like crap because then he'll feel lucky to have her exactly as she is. Today we're examining why women break down good men instead of appreciating them, the specific psychological tactics they use to systematically destroy male confidence, how this creates a death spiral that destroys both partners, why men fall for this despite being intelligent and capable, the devastating long-term consequences of allowing this pattern, and most critically, how to recognize it early and shut it down before you're completely broken. This is not about all women. This is about a specific, toxic pattern that destroys good men and ruins relationships. And if you're living it right now, everything is about to make horrible, perfect sense. Stay with me. This might save your life. The core mechanism, why breaking you down is easier than building herself up. Let me start by explaining the fundamental psychology that drives this destructive pattern. The sexual marketplace imbalance: a woman secures a man who is objectively better than her by most metrics. He's more attractive. She's a 6. He's an 8. He's more successful. She makes $40,000. He makes $120K. He's more emotionally stable. She's anxious, dramatic. He's calm, grounded. He has more options. Women pursue him. Men ignore her. He's more loyal. She cheated in past relationships. He's been faithful. He's higher value by any honest assessment of the dating market. She knows this. Deep down, beneath all the rationalizations and justifications, she knows she got lucky. She knows she's dating above her level. And this creates a fundamental problem. If he ever realizes this reality, if he ever truly understands his own value relative to hers, he might leave. He might realize he can do better. He might understand that he settled. So she has two options. Option 1, level up to deserve him. Become a better woman. Work on her appearance, her personality, her contribution, her value as a partner. Make herself worthy of the man she secured. Option 2, level him down to match her, break his confidence, destroy his self-worth, make him believe he's lucky to have her despite all evidence to the contrary. Guess which option most women choose? The Phelps analogy, I think about it this way: what's an easier way to beat Michael Phelps in a swimming race? Option A, do the full training regimen. Wake up at 4 a.m., swim 10 hours daily, follow the nutrition plan, build the muscle, develop the technique, dedicate years to becoming elite level. Option B, give Phelps food poisoning before the race. Option B is obviously easier. Option B requires minimal effort. Option B achieves the same result. You win the race without any of the actual work. That's exactly what these women do. Instead of building themselves up to deserve the quality man they secured, they poison him to bring him down to their level. But here's what makes this even more insidious. These women aren't worried about one race on one day. To them, it's a new race at any time of any day. Basically, whenever he feels a little too confident, another woman shows him attention, he receives recognition at work, he achieves something notable. She feels bad about herself that day. She compares herself to other women and feels inadequate. He mentions an ex who was attractive. She sees him getting male respect. She's right back to the game of systematically poisoning his mind against himself. The breakdown tactics: how she systematically destroys your confidence. Now let's examine the specific psychological weapons women use to break down good men. Tactic 1, constant microcriticism. She doesn't launch obvious, devastating attacks. Those would be too easy to recognize and defend against. Instead, she chips away with constant small criticisms that accumulate over time like water torture. Examples: that shirt makes you look heavier. Your hairline is really receding. You're not as funny as you used to be. You're getting a belly. Your friend Mark is more successful than you. My ex was more romantic than you. You're not very good at that. Other husbands help more around the house. You're becoming your father. You're less ambitious than when we met. None of these individually would break you, but hear them daily for months or years, and they accumulate into a comprehensive assault on your self-worth. The genius of micro-criticism, you can't fight back without seeming overly sensitive. If you get upset, she'll say, "I was just making an observation," or "You're being too sensitive," or "I was trying to help you improve." So you absorb the criticism again and again, until your self-image is completely shaped by her relentless negative assessments. Tactic 2, undermining achievements. Whenever you accomplish something, she minimizes it. You get promoted. It's about time. You should have gotten that years ago. You finish a project. That's nice. When are you going to tackle the bathroom renovation I've been asking about? You receive recognition. Don't let it go to your head. One award doesn't make you special. You achieve a fitness goal. You're still not as fit as you were in college. The pattern. Every achievement gets minimized, dismissed, or immediately followed by a reminder of something you haven't done yet. Why this works? If your wins never count, you can never build confidence from success. You're perpetually feeling inadequate despite objective accomplishments. Tactic 3, constant comparison to other men. She regularly compares you unfavorably to other men, real or fictional. Sarah's husband makes more money than you. My ex was more spontaneous. Tom is so romantic with his wife. Movie character X would never act like you just did. My dad would have handled this better. Sometimes the comparisons are explicit, sometimes there's subtle implications. But the message is always the same: other men are better than you. You're deficient by comparison. This creates constant anxiety. If other men are better, she might leave for one of them. You need to try harder, be more, do better. But her standards keep rising because the comparison target keeps changing. Tactic 4, weaponizing your vulnerabilities. You trust her. You open up. You share insecurities, fears, past failures, vulnerabilities. And she stores this information like ammunition to use against you later. You confided that you feel insecure about your career progress. She'll mention during arguments how you're not as successful as you should be. You shared that you were bullied as a kid. She'll call you weak when she wants to hurt you. You admitted you're sensitive about your weight. She'll make comments about your body whenever she wants to knock you down. Why this is devastating: you trusted her with your deepest vulnerabilities, and she weaponizes them. This teaches you that vulnerability equals giving her weapons to hurt you, which destroys intimacy and trust. Tactic 5, gaslighting your perception of reality. She rewrites history to make you doubt your own memory and perception. You said you'd handle that appointment. Her, I never said that. You must be misremembering. You were really harsh to me at dinner last night. Her, you're being overly sensitive. I was just joking. Everyone else understood that. You promised we'd discuss this before making a decision. Her, no, I didn't. You're making that up. Over time, this makes you doubt your own memory and perception. If she can convince you that you're misremembering things, you stop trusting yourself and start relying on her version of reality, which is whatever version serves her purposes in the moment. Tactic 6, public humiliation. She criticizes, mocks, or diminishes you in front of others. At dinner with friends, she tells embarrassing stories about you. At family gatherings, she mentions your failures or shortcomings. In front of your kids, she undermines your authority or questions your competence. Why public humiliation is so effective? It compounds the damage. Not only are you being criticized, but witnesses see it, which means you can't even privately preserve your dignity. Your humiliation is public record. And if you object, you look weak for being unable to take a joke. She's trained your social circle to see you as overly sensitive, so challenging her just proves you can't handle harmless teasing. Tactic 7, withholding validation and affection. No matter what you do, it's never quite good enough to earn her approval. You do the dishes, but not the way she would have done them. You plan a date, but not the kind she wanted. You buy her a gift, but it's not thoughtful enough. You work hard, but not in the areas she prioritizes. Nothing you do earns genuine praise, appreciation, or validation. You're perpetually falling short of her shifting standards. This creates desperate seeking behavior. You keep trying harder and harder to finally earn her approval, which gives her total control over you while ensuring you never actually achieve the validation you're seeking. The death spiral, how this destroys both partners now. Let me trace how this pattern creates a death spiral that destroys the relationship and both people in it. Stage 1, the hook, months 1 to 6. Initially, she treats you well. She's supportive, affectionate, validating. She makes you feel valued and appreciated. This is how she secured you in the first place. You think, this is a great woman. She sees my value. She appreciates me. Reality, She's securing commitment before revealing the breakdown game. Once you're emotionally invested, legally committed, or otherwise locked in, the game begins. Stage 2, testing the waters, months 6 to 12. She starts with small criticisms and tests. A comment about your appearance, a subtle undermining of an achievement, a small comparison to another man, a minor public humiliation. If you object strongly, she backs off temporarily. I was just kidding. You're so sensitive. Then she recalibrates. She'll try different tactics or deliver them more subtly. If you don't object, if you absorb the criticism and try to improve or just let it slide, she knows the game will work. You've shown you'll accept this treatment without consequences. Stage 3, systematic breakdown, year 1 to 3. The criticism becomes constant and multifaceted. Your appearance, your career, your personality, your competence, your sexuality, your intelligence, your masculinity, nothing is off limits. Every area of your life becomes subject to her relentless negative assessment. You start changing to try to meet her standards, work out more, work harder, be more romantic, be less emotional, be more sensitive. The standards keep shifting, so you can never actually succeed, but you keep trying. Your confidence erodes steadily. You start doubting yourself. Maybe she's right. Maybe you are deficient in these ways. Maybe you are lucky she tolerates you. Stage 4, complete breakdown, year 3 plus. You no longer recognize yourself. The confident man who entered the relationship is gone. In his place is an anxious, approval-seeking shell who constantly monitors her mood, tries desperately to please her, and genuinely believes he's fortunate she hasn't left yet. You've internalized her negative assessment. You believe you're not that attractive, not that successful, not that valuable. You're lucky to have her. No one else would tolerate your flaws. She's achieved complete control. You won't leave. You don't think you can do better. You won't demand better treatment. You don't think you deserve it. You'll accept whatever she dishes out because you believe the alternative is being alone. Stage 5, her contempt, year 5 plus. Here's the darkest irony. Once she's successfully broken you down, she loses all respect and attraction for you. She wanted you to be strong enough to resist her breakdown tactics. She wanted you to maintain your value despite her attacks. She wanted you to be unbreakable, but you broke. And now she's disgusted by your weakness. The very thing she worked to create, your broken confidence, is now the thing she despises most about you. She destroyed you, and now she hates you for being destroyed. This is when dead bedrooms develop, affairs happen, or she leaves for another man, who she'll immediately start breaking down using the same playbook. Why good men fall for this, the trust exploitation, you might be wondering. How do intelligent, capable men fall for this pattern? Why don't they recognize the game and shut it down immediately? Reason 1, he loves and trusts her since he's in love with his wife. He trusts her. Since he trusts her, he believes what she says. Even though what she says hurts them both, he thinks she's just trying to help him be realistic, help him improve, help him see blind spots. So he listens when she attacks his confidence. He takes her criticism seriously. He tries to address the flaws she identifies. He has no idea she's deliberately destroying him. He thinks she's trying to help him. This is why the game works so effectively. She's exploiting the very trust and love that makes him a good partner. His virtues, trust, openness to feedback, desire to improve, become the mechanisms of his destruction. Reason 2. Cultural programming about relationships. Men are taught that good relationships require taking feedback and improving, not being defensive, listening to your partner's concerns, working on yourself, being humble about your flaws. All of this is true in healthy relationships with women who have your best interests at heart. But it becomes weapons-grade manipulation when applied to women running the breakdown game. Everything he's been taught about being a good partner actually makes him more vulnerable to systematic destruction. Reason 3, gradual escalation. The breakdown doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual, like gaining weight or losing hair. You don't notice the day-to-day change until you compare photos from 5 years ago and realize how different you look now. Same with psychological breakdown. Each individual criticism seems minor. Each comparison seems like just an observation. Each undermining comment seems like honest feedback. It's only when you step back and look at the cumulative effect that you realize your self-worth has been systematically demolished. Reason 4, sunken cost fallacy. The time the pattern becomes undeniable, he's already years into the relationship, maybe married, maybe with kids, maybe financially entangled, maybe socially committed. Everyone knows them as a couple. The cost of leaving feels enormous. So he tells himself, it's not that bad. She's just trying to help. All relationships have difficulties. He should try harder to meet her standards. He stays and absorbs more damage. because leaving would mean admitting that years of his life were spent in a destructive dynamic. And that admission is psychologically painful. The horrible bottom line, why this pattern destroys everything, here's the devastating truth. These broken and scared women ruin every relationship where they secure a man they feel is better than they deserve. In reality, getting such a man should be a win they celebrate every day. They should be grateful. They should treat him well. They should build him up so he never has reason to leave. They should appreciate the fortune of attracting someone above their level. But they won't do that. That makes too much sense. Instead, they try to break him down until he matches their low self-worth. They attack him for being anything less than perfect in private while simultaneously attacking him for having any confidence about his value in the world. The contradiction is insane. At home, you're not that special. You're ordinary. You have so many flaws. You should be grateful I put up with you. In public career life, why aren't you more successful? Why don't you make more money? Why aren't you more respected? You should be achieving more. They want you to be simultaneously confident enough in the world to achieve and provide, broken enough at home to never realize you could do better than her. This is psychological torture, and it's deliberate. What can be done? The confrontation that changes everything now. We get to the critical question, what can you actually do if you're living this pattern right now? Some form of direct confrontation is required, not aggressive, not cruel, but absolutely unflinchingly honest. This will be uncomfortable. It will create conflict. It will force issues to the surface that have been festering beneath. But unless you want to live like this forever, being systematically broken down until there's nothing left of who you were, you need to do this today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because every day you wait is another day of damage. Another layer of your confidence stripped away. Another piece of yourself surrendered to her systematic destruction. Approach 1, direct question, sit her down and ask directly, why do you feel the need to constantly criticize me? Don't ask this during a fight. Don't ask when she's in the middle of an attack. Ask during a calm moment with genuine curiosity but absolute firmness. I've noticed a pattern. You regularly criticize my appearance, my career, my competence. You compare me unfavorably to other men. You undermine my achievements. This isn't occasional feedback. It's systematic. Why are you doing this? Let her answer. Don't interrupt. Listen to what she says and, more importantly, to what she doesn't say. Approach 2, the value declaration. State your value clearly and unapologetically. I know you see my value. I'm obviously a good man. No one is perfect, but I'm honest, loyal, hardworking. Add your own genuine qualities. There are not many men in the world like me. Then ask directly, what is your actual problem with my value as a husband? Because your behavior suggests you think I should be grateful you tolerate me. But the reality is, I'm a high-quality man who could attract other women. So what's actually going on here? This forces her to articulate what's usually kept implicit. And it demonstrates that you understand your own value, which immediately disrupts the breakdown game because the game only works if you believe you're low value. Approach 3, the threat and security. Frame address what's likely driving the behavior. I wonder if my value makes you feel threatened about my commitment to us. Like maybe you're worried that if I fully understood how valuable I am, I might leave. So you're trying to keep me insecure, to keep me locked down. This names the pattern explicitly. It shows you see what she's doing. It demonstrates you understand the psychology. Her response will tell you everything if she denies it but starts treating you better. She was unconsciously running the pattern, and your calling it out disrupted it. If she denies it and escalates attacks, she was consciously running the pattern and is doubling down because you threatened her control. If she admits it and is willing to change, rare but possible, she recognizes the destructive pattern and wants to do better. If she gaslights and makes you the problem, she's deeply committed to the pattern and unlikely to change without serious consequences. Approach 4, the boundary establishment. State clearly what you will and won't accept going forward. I'm done accepting constant criticism as though it's helpful feedback. I'm done being compared unfavorably to other men. I'm done having my achievements minimized. I'm done being treated like I'm lucky you tolerate me. Here's what changes. You speak to me with respect. You acknowledge my value. You support my achievements. You build me up instead of tearing me down, or this relationship ends. I'm not asking. I'm informing. This is the new reality. You can adapt to it, or we can part ways, but I'm done being systematically broken down by someone who should be building me up. Deliver this calmly but with absolute conviction, not as a threat, as a boundary, as a statement of what your life will look like going forward with or without her. The 3 possible outcomes, what happens after confrontation when you finally confront this pattern, One of three things will happen. Outcome one, she changes. Best case, she recognizes the pattern. She's horrified that she's been doing this. She commits to changing, and she actually follows through. She starts building you up instead of tearing you down. She catches herself when old patterns emerge and corrects. She works actively to restore the confidence she's been systematically destroying. This is the best outcome, but it's also the rarest. It only happens if she has genuine self-awareness. She actually loves you and wants the relationship to work. She's capable of changing deeply ingrained patterns. She's willing to do the uncomfortable work of examining her own insecurities. If you get this outcome, the relationship can not only survive, but thrive. Outcome two, she escalates extinction burst. She initially denies, deflects, or attacks you for bringing it up. She may gaslight, you're imagining things, project, you're actually the one who criticizes me, or victimize, I can't believe you'd accuse me of this. Then she escalates the breakdown tactics. More criticism, more comparisons, more public humiliation. This is called an extinction burst. When a manipulation tactic stops working, the person using it intensifies it before giving up. If you hold frame through the extinction burst, if you don't back down, don't apologize, don't return to accepting poor treatment, one of two things happens. She eventually breaks and moves to outcome one, change, or she moves to outcome three, leaves. But if you cave during the extinction burst, you return to the pattern, except worse, because now she knows exactly how hard she has to push to break you again. Outcome three, she leaves, necessary loss, she leaves rather than change the pattern. This might be immediate, or it might happen after failed escalation. And while this feels like the worst outcome, it's actually salvation in disguise. She was only with you for what she could extract while keeping you broken down enough to not realize you could do better. She had no genuine love or respect, just entitlement to your resources and willingness to tolerate her abuse. Her leaving saves you from wasting more years on someone fundamentally incapable of appreciating you. You're now free to find someone who actually values you, builds you up, and sees your worth. Or to be single and rebuild your confidence without someone systematically destroying it daily. Either option is infinitely better than staying with someone actively working to break you. Final thoughts. The life you deserve. If you're living this pattern right now, let me tell you something. Clearly, you deserve better than this. You deserve a partner who sees your value and appreciates it, who builds you up instead of tearing you down, who makes your life better rather than systematically destroying your confidence. You deserve to feel valued in your own relationship, to have your achievements celebrated rather than minimized, to have your vulnerabilities respected rather than weaponized, to come home to peace rather than perpetual criticism. Marriage should be happiness and growth for both partners, not misery and systematic psychological destruction. If your partner is playing the good man breakdown game, it's not because you're inadequate. It's because she's insecure, manipulative, and too lazy to actually become worthy of the quality man she secured. The breakdown is about her inadequacy, not yours. She's trying to drag you down to her level rather than rising to yours. You can either confront it directly and force change or departure, or continue accepting systematic destruction until there's nothing left of who you were. Choose wisely, but choose today, because every day you wait is another day you lose yourself a little more. Drop a comment if you've recognized this pattern. Are you living it now? Have you escaped it? What happened when you finally stood up? Subscribe because this channel will continue exposing toxic relationship dynamics that destroy good men and providing the frameworks to recognize and escape them. Stand up, state your value, and never let anyone systematically destroy you for having the audacity to be better than they think you deserve.